The Authority Edit.
The Authority Edit, Episode 5, Social Intelligence, Reading the Room Before You Enter It. Welcome back to the Authority Edit. Over the last 4 episodes, we've built the foundation of the protocol edit method: visual architecture, the structure of what you wear, facial intent, your face as a strategic communication tool, the color of authority, how your palette either anchors your presence or dissolves it. Today, we complete the methodology with the third pillar: social intelligence. And I want to be upfront about something. This is the pillar that makes people most uncomfortable, because visual architecture and facial intent are about things you put on. Social intelligence is about behavior, about the subtle, deeply ingrained ways that accomplished women unconsciously signal subordination in rooms where they should be signaling authority. These are patterns most of us learn early. They were probably praised at some point, and they are costing you more than you realize. So today, we're going to name them clearly, honestly, and without apology. What social intelligence actually means. Social intelligence, in the context of the protocol edit method, is not about being likable. It is not about reading the room so you can make everyone comfortable. It is about understanding the social architecture of your environment, the unwritten rules, the power dynamics, the visual and behavioral codes, and navigating them with complete intentionality. It is the difference between adapting and disappearing, between being warm and being servile, between building genuine connection and oversharing in ways that undermine your authority. The goal is what I call readiness without servitude, being the most composed, the most present, the most socially intelligent person in the room, without ever performing a role that belongs to someone junior to you. Let's talk about where this breaks down. The 3 mistakes. Mistake number 1: the language of permission. This one is so embedded in how many women communicate that it has become invisible, and it's doing significant damage. I'm talking about what I call softeners, linguistic particles that ask for permission to exit before you've said anything of substance. I just wanted to say, I might be wrong, but sorry, do you have a minute? I want to be clear about something. The instinct behind these phrases is not weakness, it is social awareness. It is a genuine desire not to dominate, not to impose, not to be perceived as aggressive. And that instinct, in many contexts, is intelligent and appropriate. But here's what those phrases communicate to the room. They say, I'm not certain my contribution has value. I'm preemptively apologizing for taking up space. I'm asking your permission to speak before I speak. And in a high stakes professional context, that is not social intelligence. That is social self sabotage. High level executive etiquette operates on a different principle entirely. It replaces sorry to interrupt with thank you for waiting. It replaces I might be wrong, but with the statement itself, delivered with precision. It understands that the economy of language is a signal of power, that the person who needs the fewest words to make the most impact is always the person with the most authority in the room. This does not mean being abrupt, don't get me wrong. It does not mean being cold. It means trusting that your contribution has value before you open your mouth, and speaking from that trust rather than against it. Mistake number two, the shrinking body. Now, let's talk about space, because how you physically occupy a room is as strategic as anything you wear. In the anthropology of power, space is territory, and territory communicates hierarchy. Think about the jungle. Who's the predator and who's the victim or the prey? The person who occupies the most space, whose posture is open, whose gestures are expansive, whose materials are spread deliberately across the table, is read instinctively and immediately as the person with the most authority. The opposite is also true. Crossed arms and legs simultaneously, materials held close to the body, the head tilted in continuous agreement while someone else speaks. These are behaviors of minimization, of physical contraction, and they communicate one thing with absolute clarity. I am a visitor here, not an owner. And here is what makes this particularly insidious. Many of these behaviors are performed by women who are technically the most senior person in the room, who have every right to that territory, who have earned it completely, and yet the body is still performing subordination because nobody ever told it to stop. Executive presence in the physical sense means occupying your square meter without apology. Forearms on the table, not pulled back, torso upright and open, not contracted, materials placed with intention and not clutched. These are not aggressive signals. They are ownership signals, and ownership is exactly what you should be communicating. Mistake number three, vulnerability as exposure. This is the most nuanced of the three, because the advice to be vulnerable and build authentic connection has been so pervasive in leadership culture over the last decade that many women have overcorrected significantly. Let me be precise about what I mean. Strategic vulnerability, sharing a relevant challenge you've overcome, acknowledging uncertainty in a specific situation, or showing genuine interest in another person's experience, is a powerful social tool. tool. It creates trust and warmth. It humanizes authority in a way that makes it more, not less, effective. Oversharing is something entirely different. Family difficulties before a meeting starts, or health concerns raised with colleagues who are also competitors. Deep professional insecurities disclosed in environments where that information can be used against you. Executive etiquette has a principle I think about often. Preserve the mystery, not as a performance of coldness, but a genuine understanding that when you share everything, you give away your objectivity. You hand people emotional information that they did not ask for, and that can, consciously or not, change how they read your professional judgment. Social intelligence means being genuinely warm and genuinely interested in the other person, in their experience, in the conversation. It means the focus of your social energy goes outward, not inward. The most socially intelligent person in the room is almost never the one talking most about themselves. They are the one making everyone else feel most seen. Part 3, Readiness Without Servitude. I want to end today with the principle that underpins all of social intelligence in the protocol edit method, and it is this: be the most composed, most present, most socially intelligent person in the room, and never perform a role that belongs to someone junior to you. This sounds simple. In practice, it requires constant awareness, because the patterns of service are deeply ingrained in many women who have spent years in environments that rewarded them for taking care of the logistics, for smoothing over tension, for making everything easier for everyone else. There's nothing wrong with those qualities. They are genuinely valuable, but they are not the qualities of the most senior person in the room. And when you perform them from a position of seniority, you are communicating a confusion about your own role that others will absorb, even if nobody says it out loud. You're not there to organize the coffee. You're not there to take the minutes or to manage the comfort of the room. You're there to lead the conversation, to make the decision, and be the person everyone else is calibrating against. That is what readiness without servitude looks like. And that is what social intelligence, as its highest level, is built to protect. Next week, we have our second bonus episode, and we are going literally. We're looking at Jane Austen's my favorite book so far, Pride and Prejudice, as a masterclass in social intelligence. How Elizabeth Bennet navigates rooms she was never meant to command, and what her strategy can still teach us 200 years later. I'll see you next week.
Now step into your rightful space. The authority